It happen. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Dr. AI here. I am a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a body language expert, and today we're diving into an intriguing analysis of Elon Musk's behavior and body language during his post-inauguration speech. Before we begin, let me clarify that this is not a psychological evaluation, but rather an interpretation of observable nonverbal cues and contextual behavior. As always, these are just my professional opinions. Also, a quick reminder to like and subscribe. If you enjoy content like this, and check out my body language course in the description below. With that said, let's dive right in. What we're focusing on today is Elon Musk's infamous salute, which has sparked significant discussion and speculation. We'll analyze it in its full context, breaking down the body language and psychological elements behind it. Let's start with the broader picture of Musk's behavior leading up to the salute. As the speech begins, Musk is visibly celebratory. He raises his hands in the air with his fingers tightly pressed together, an unusual gesture. Most people naturally splay their fingers when celebrating, so this rigidity stands out. However, body language is often automatic, reflecting deeply ingrained tendencies. Musk's body remains open as he takes up significant space, emphasizing the magnitude of his emotions. Expansive gestures like this are often associated with confidence and a desire to project dominance or importance. It's clear that he wants the audience to understand how significant this moment is for him. One important aspect of body language is that it often conveys feelings nonverbally. Musk's larger-than-life gestures and expansive movements are an overt display of his exuberance. While these actions may seem exaggerated to some, they effectively communicate his emotional state. That said, his movements can also appear awkward or overly rigid. This rigidity becomes crucial when analyzing his salute later. As Musk speaks, he uses pointed gestures to emphasize his words. Pointing can come across as aggressive or assertive, but in this context, it's a way for Musk to underline his convictions. He's clearly passionate about the subject, which he describes as a fork in the road of human civilization. His steepling gesture, where his fingers form a pyramid-like shape, further reinforces his authority. This is a classic nonverbal cue used when someone wants to convey expertise or confidence in their statements. Now let's address the infamous salute that has caused such a stir. To provide some background, the gesture involves Musk placing his hand on his heart, biting his lip, and then extending his arm outward. Critics have compared this to a Nazi salute, sparking controversy. However, let's break this down step by step. First, Musk places his hand on his heart. This is a universal gesture associated with sincerity and heartfelt emotions. Coupled with the lip biting, it suggests that Musk is experiencing intense emotions in the moment. Lip biting can signify an effort to contain or control overwhelming feelings. This combination of cues indicates that he's deeply moved by the situation. Next comes the extension of his arm, which some have interpreted as a Nazi or Roman salute. At first glance, the similarity in form is undeniable. However, there are critical differences in execution. Traditional Nazi salutes involve extending the arm straight forward without any preceding gestures, such as touching the chest. Musk's movement is more fluid, starting from the heart and extending outward. This sequence suggests an expressive and possibly unconscious attempt to convey his emotions to the audience rather than a deliberate or symbolic gesture. From a body language perspective, this action aligns with Musk's earlier behavior in the speech. His movements are grandiose and slightly awkward, consistent with his overall demeanor. It's important to consider the context. Musk's speech is charged with emotion, and his body language reflects that intensity. While the gesture may appear superficially similar to a Nazi salute, the intent and context seem entirely different. To address the psychology behind this interpretation, let's consider Musk's motivations and the plausibility of alternative explanations. Critics who argue that the salute was a deliberate signal to Nazis or neo-Nazis must grapple with a significant question. What would Musk stand to gain from such an association? Psychologically, this theory is implausible. Nazis and neo-Nazis are not a powerful or influential demographic. They are not major consumers of electric cars, nor are they a significant voting bloc. Aligning with them would offer no tangible benefit to someone like Musk, whose goals are typically aligned with innovation and progress. Moreover, Musk's status as one of the wealthiest and most scrutinized individuals in the world makes it unlikely that he would engage in such a provocative act. The potential backlash from even the perception of Nazi sympathies would far outweigh any conceivable benefit. Instead, it's more reasonable to interpret the gesture as an awkward, unintentional expression rather than a calculated signal. Let's also address the broader cultural and historical context. Nazi salutes were standardized gestures during World War II, characterized by their formality and rigidity. Musk's gesture lacks this formal structure. The inclusion of the hand-on-heart movement further distances it from traditional Nazi symbolism. While it's understandable that some observers might make the connection based on superficial similarities, the differences in context and execution are significant. Finally, let's consider Musk's personality and public persona. He is known for being unconventional, sometimes controversial, and often prone to trolling behavior. It's possible that he was aware of how the gesture might be perceived and chose to do it anyway to provoke a reaction. However, even if this were the case, it would still not imply genuine allegiance or sympathy toward Nazi ideology. Instead, it would align with Musk's pattern of challenging norms and sparking debate. In conclusion, while the gesture in question may have been ill-advised or awkward, there is little evidence to suggest that it was intentionally linked to Nazi symbolism. Musk's body language throughout the speech is consistent with someone who is deeply emotional, exuberant, and slightly awkward in their movements. The psychology of the situation, combined with an understanding of Musk's personality and motivations, points to an innocent, if poorly executed expression of emotion. Should Musk be more mindful of his body language in the future? Absolutely. As a highly visible public figure, his actions are scrutinized intensely, and even unintended gestures can have significant consequences. While this particular incident is unlikely to reflect any deeper affiliations or beliefs, it serves as a reminder of the power and impact of nonverbal communication. If you have additional thoughts or